Hello everyone. This is a video to demonstrate using the terminal command line only to do all the steps in Git and GitHub to begin with creating a new folder, project, directory, repo, or repository on your computer and within your work directory area, and then initiating this new folder with Git to have all its files and subfolders tracked and versioned, all still locally on your computer and within your working directory or the index staging area or the head committed area, all still on your local computer. And then when your files are ready, store this new folder remotely on GitHub for long-term tracking, versioning, storage, and sharing with other developers. This will be done by typing comments within the command line of what is to be done and then doing it, combined with some voice overlay explaining the steps as they occur. This will be a tutorial of Scenario 1 of Git and GitHub. Scenario 1 is the process of creating a folder, repo, directory, repository, project, all the same thing, on your local computer, and then initializing it for tracking and versioning, and then placing it on GitHub for long-term tracking and sharing with others to do development work on your project folder. To begin, we go to our Documents folder and create a project folder/repo. We ls-list our directories within our home directory and then enter the Documents folder by cd documents. We ls-list files and folders within the Documents folder, and there are none. So we now make a directory folder, repo, within the Documents folder by creating a directory with the command make_dir scenario 1. We list to confirm our folder project repo has been created within the Documents folder. It has. Now we enter into the scenario 1 folder to begin the project by cd scenario 1 and ls and confirm there are no files or folders within scenario 1 folder/repo. So we add files to scenario 1 by the command touch index.html, javascript.js, python.py, style.css, and then confirm they are within our folder by ls listing them. Now we have some files to track. By doing ls-lah, lah is an option to list all files in human readable form. And we confirm there is no Git folder within our project repo called Scenario 1. So we add it by the command git init, and then confirming that the .git folder was added to our local repo by ls-lah, and we see that the Git folder in green is now within our project folder. We now do a git status and see the files listed in red are still untracked and unversioned. So we correct this with git add dot and git commit -m and a message. And with git branch-a, we see there are no branches yet. And git log, we see there are no log activity yet. So we begin versioning and move our files to the index staging area by the command git add dot. And then to git status, we see the files in green, meaning they have been added to the index staging area and ready for being committed to the head/committed area. To commit the files, we use the command git commit -m and then in parentheses the message that we want to issue with that command. Now, with git status, we see that our working tree is clean and all our files have been committed to the head committed area. Now, with git log, we see the hashtag assigned to this unique commit, as well as the author and email of the author that committed the files and the date and time the commitment was done. Now we go over to our GitHub account and set a new repo, directory, project, folder, they're all the same, to store and track and share our new project that we just created on our computer. After the new repo is created, we capture its URL with the copy button to the right of the URL, and then we return to our local folder and enter the commands to connect it to the new remote folder on GitHub by the command get remote add origin and paste the URL that we just copied on GitHub. If we enter git branch-a, A means we want to list all the branches, remote or local, we see we still only have the main branch on our local computer. But we correct this by running the command get push -u origin main. The -u option makes the connection of our local repo with the remote GitHub repo. Now get branch -a shows us we now have the main branch and also the remote origin main branch on GitHub. And now we can push our local folder to GitHub by the command get pull origin main. We do the pull command first because it assures that there have been no changes in the GitHub remote branch since we last worked on it. Now we push with get push origin main. And we now go to our GitHub account and confirm that our push has worked by refreshing the screen by clicking the code button in the upper left of the screen or clicking anywhere within the screen and doing a command plus R if you're on a Mac. We see that our files are now stored on GitHub. We will now create a README file in GitHub and then update our local folder /repo to have the README file. Before we create the README file, we do a ls-lah command and we see that we do not have the README file locally on our computer. We will now create a readme.md file and then update our local folder on our computer so that it has the README file. The README file is to tell others new to your project or repo what its purpose is. Back on our local computer, we ls-lah or just ls and confirm that there is no README file within our local folder yet. To pull it over from GitHub, we run get pull origin main. If we now run ls, we see that the README file is now in our local folder directory repo because we pulled it from origin main on GitHub. Now we will modify one of our files in the project by opening it in VS Code and making a change. Once the change is done, we will return to our command line and update the changes within Git and GitHub. We open VS Code and do Command plus O to open a file, and we go into Finder and select index.html. We make a simple change by typing Hello World into the body of the HTML. We save the file and close VS Code. When we return to the command line and open index.html, we see the change, and when we do get status, we see that index.html is showing modified and in red print and needs to be moved to staging and committed. We do this by get add dot and get commit -m with a comment about the change in quotes. In this case, our get commit message is simply that we added a line of code to the body of the index.html file that was hello world. Then ls and get status shows us that the working tree is clean, and get log shows us the commit has been done and we are ready to move the updates to the permanent snapshot within GitHub with get pull origin main and get push origin main. We go to our GitHub repo and refresh its screen with Command R, and we see that the update has been done for permanent tracking, versioning, and storage. We have verified that our change in VS Code has been pushed to GitHub for permanent tracking, versioning, storage, and sharing with others. This is a conclusion of scenario 1, which was tracking a local folder on your computer and placing it on GitHub for permanent storage, tracking, and sharing with others. Please like and subscribe, and I will do other videos like this. My new one will be scenario 2, which will be cloning an existing folder repo project on GitHub to your local computer so that you can work on it if you choose, or just study or have its contents for your information. Thank you.